Prosperity and abundance to everyone tuning in. I am Mrs.Melanin, and it is an honor and a pleasure to be back with you all. So, Divine Feminine, I wanted to check in with you, and I really already had something on my spirit. Besides the fact that you guys voted on a poll that you would like a video for Divine Feminine this week, I already had something on my spirit, and it is that for a certain group of individuals, okay, we are ready to evolve, actually. And I did think Divine Feminine was like the epitome of a woman of integrity. And I don't know, but this message came to me, right? From Divine Feminine to Sacred Feminine. So I went ahead and I looked up the definitions because I was like, okay, maybe it's just like two different words that kind of mean the same thing. They're like synonyms, and they kind of are, but they are exactly different in the ways that I got the download. So when I got the download, it was really that the Divine Feminine has a lot to do with divination. The Divine Feminine, yes, she is aware of source, yes, she draws from source, but our space as the Divine Feminine is still reliant upon divination. And this is not to insult anybody that's still reading tarot or you're still doing your thing. I still make, or I actually started again making my jewelry. And a lot of the jewelry I make are with crystals, but I do not make them from a space where I'm telling you that it will, and I never have, to be honest. But I did need to take a sabbatical away from that to really analyze the things I was using and what it really not only meant to me, but what it could mean to the individuals that I was giving it to, or the people I'm speaking to. As you guys know, like I said before, all the old tarot videos and stuff like that, and even some other videos that weren't about tarot, I cleared them off of this page because during that time period, I was really having like a little crisis about like, wow, have I been misleading people, whatever the case may be. The answer to that is no. Divine Feminine, we've gone through divination. We are able to see those different things so that we could know as you evolve to the Sacred Feminine. I think more so than anything, we needed to see those spaces. A lot of times you see different groups of people saying that it's just demonic, and honestly, that is true. A demon is an intelligent spirit. It's not, I don't want it to just be a word that is confined to religion. I am not religious. I tell you guys that all the time. I am simply staying in tune with the Most High God. And again, another thing to highlight is that we have the God of this world, which is that low vibrational entity and energy. And then we have the Most High God, the true original source. And there is a difference. There is a keen difference because one is a clean source and one is not. When you operate and you draw from a clean source, there is no coming to collect. When you operate and you're taking from an unclean source, that energy is going to come collect. So just to give you guys an example of that, like and maybe I'll put up the story about how I manifested $10,000. So, and that's just one of the manifestations. I manifested $10,000 intentionally. And the way I received that $10,000 though, is I got into an accident. That is what an unclean source will do. When you're operating from a space of an unclean source, it's going to come to collect. So it can be through blood. Even if you think about like celebrities and people, when you talk about selling your soul and things like that, when you're in alignment with that unclean source, it comes to collect. When you are in alignment with the true, pure, original source, right? Not the mimic, that false source, not the mimicking of it. When you draw from the space of the original and natural source, there is no coming to collect. So there was another lump sum of money that I embarked upon that there was no need for me to be disheveled. There was a peace around it. It didn't come after some type of, traumatic event, pretty much. So that is the difference from drawing from the original source and the mimic source, okay? Hopefully I drew that picture very clearly. But anyways, as we are evolving to sacred feminine, the sacred feminine, again, you're drawing straight from that source. You no longer need the outside sources. You're no longer dwelling on the outside sources like the cards or even astrology and even crystals. You're not looking to that. And although a lot of us, for example, with me, I don't, like I said, I don't create jewelry to give you any type of power that you don't already have. Like, you've already been given all the tools. The Most High God has given us the tools to be creators in our own life. That's why it says ye are gods, but it says ye are gods with a lowercase g. You're not the God. You're not the God of this world, and you're not the Most High God. Now you are operating and utilizing one of those, and sometimes, you know, a lot of times we jump back and forth, but hopefully that was really clear on where I'm getting at. And like I said, I'm not here to insult anybody. I'm not here to rush you out of your process. I'm not here to change your mind. I am just speaking on what has been placed on my spirit. So as we evolve to that sacred feminine, now you're just drawing from source. You know that you have that tool set. And anything outside of self is for confirmation. And you know, no man is an island. So we're here to verse. You and I verse. Yeah, we're still here to verse. But it's really about going and drawing from that source which has the authority over all things. So when you're dealing with court cases, when you're dealing with any type of legality, when you're dealing with anybody coming or trying to rise up against you and attack you, you can draw from that source, and that will be the overedging protection. I really want to be able to reiterate to you all how much you can rely on that. And hopefully I'll be able to share more of my story as time goes on. But as for now, evolving from the divine feminine to the sacred feminine, really honoring and knowing that you have that tool set within, you've done a lot of work, you can really just go from within. Like, you can walk into a room and this is not new. We've been this way, but there was maybe like a lack of trust, or just, again, needing to know what is going on in that area of tarot, in that area of all different types of divination tools. You needed to see, and I think a lot of people are naturally pushed away from it because they see the lack of integrity is no different. Like, a lot of people go towards that because it's like, oh, you know, religion is this, religion is confinement. A lot of people feel like, oh, our ancestors did this, There's never been a time where everybody was reading cards. There's never been a time where everybody was looking to the stars or anything like that. Like, there's always been people who specialized in that. There's always been people who were in that area, and because that was where they went when they lost their divine connection, their natural connection. And so when you see a lot of these things, like on the pyramids, or you see it in old scripture, and you see it in the Bible, things like that, it tells you, like, this is always in these different cycles, not just in the cycle that we're living in. In these different cycles, these things have always existed. There's always been different tribes, different type of people who utilize it. But that does not mean that those people were on a path in alignment with the Most High, if that makes sense. So again, not here to insult anybody or try to deter your path of what you feel like you're being guided to do you, but I did want to go ahead and give that information. So now, as we evolve to the sacred feminine, this is really about becoming women of integrity, becoming individuals of integrity. As you evolve to the sacred feminine, it's really about going within. Like, when you get that message, you need to trust it. If you waste too much time with outside noise or outside things, then you're going to deter yourself from the divine guidance that you're really being given. So you don't need these things that are outside of self any longer, okay? Because it's like another like I said, not only are you utilizing monitoring spirits and familiar spirits, and these spirits are tormented spirits that exist on this realm. They're ancient spirits that have been here for thousands and thousands upon years, however long. And so it's not that you're not going to get accurate information, you will. But like I said, it's also it's not pure to look into other people's lives. When you go and do a tarot reading on, like, let's say you go and do the tarot reading on the divine masculine. Well, if you were supposed to know that, you would be able to just ask that person the information. You will be able to ask them, but a lot of times if you ask that individual, they don't want to tell you. They don't want you in their business. They don't want to communicate certain things to you. So to go and read over their life, it should be clear that that's a violation of privacy. Even when you get down to astrology charts and things like that, we should not be looking into other people's lives. And even when it comes to our lives, it makes you fixated and you start getting too jittery in your brain, you know, just too much going on in your brain trying to control this, or Mercury retrograde, or this, my house is in the It's just too much, when if you just stay still and listen to divine guidance, you will get what you need in that moment. And even if these messages or something are supposed to come from other places, you will have more clarity on how to trust it, instead of, you know, jumping from one reading to the next reading to the next reading, if that makes sense. So again, I'm not trying to take away whatever you're being led to do still. I think it is all purposed, and I think it's all in alignment for what you're supposed to gain, the experience you're supposed to gain, the background you're supposed to gain, and the different things that you're supposed to learn. One of the biggest things that pushed me out of doing cards or being on that type of scene was one of the ladies that, you know, I talk about this a lot because it was really a big wake-up call for me, that people, and I already was seeing people getting online and doing readings because they needed money for, you know, whatever they needed to do. They needed money for rent, they needed money to smoke, and it's just not of integrity. It's really just not of integrity, especially if you are supposed to be spiritual in a healthy way, because spirituality is not always sacred. It's not always of a high vibration. There are spiritual beings that are very low demonic beings. They're still intelligent spirits. They can still give you partial information. They have to give you partial information that is accurate, or things that seem like it is, you know, they need to give you enough truths to get you entrapped in it. So it has to be that way. But like I said, one of the main reasons why I came or just fell back on it was because, like, the way that lady operated with me was like, wow, if we're supposed to be divine beings, we're supposed to be, you know, handling things differently, and we're supposed to be of more integrity, period, then why did you have to come at me like that? Why are we here acting or fighting for spaces when it comes to what we feel like we're purposed to do? Why would we have to fight for a space when there's enough space for all of us? There's enough space for all of us. So that is what I wanted to tell you all about the sacred feminine, evolving from divine feminine. And it's a process. It is definitely a process. Like, I previously viewed the divine feminine as being the sacred feminine. And I viewed the dysfunctional feminine as being the elevation to the divine feminine. And I think it all plays a part. Like, we're going through what we need to go through as we're healing through different things that we've been through, childhood traumas, whatever it may be. And so now in this space of the sacred feminine, it's really about becoming a woman of integrity, taking your time, being diligent, and moving forward so that you're continuously drawing from the Most High, continuously drawing from that pure source and not the mimic source. And being able to analyze and really set boundaries, being able to vet our partners, and things of that nature. So I hope that has shed some light on anything you may have been feeling, confirmed some things, and I will talk to you all soon.